Hey, Father Columba here. I hope you've been enjoying this series. I'm certainly enjoying making them. It's great fun, me and my little geranium plant here. Jerry, I don't know, did I ever tell you I call him Jerry? Anyway, there he is, 3 flowers on him now. God bless him. And he's a great symbol for how this series has been growing in leaps and bounds. Anyway, do hope you've been enjoying it. And would you consider becoming a regular supporter, a monthly supporter? Reason I say monthly rather than just random is because it's a huge help to us when we know how much is coming into our bank account, that we can make informed decisions about how to grow in terms of promotion and production. So yeah, that would be amazing if you would be willing to do that, to consider that. So if you'd like to support us, you can click on the link below or go to our website calledtomore.org. God bless you guys. Bye-bye. Today I want to talk to you about one of my favorites, St. John Paul II. So St. John Paul II was Pope for piles of years until 2005. So all of my growing up was under his pontificate. One day he was being interviewed by a pile of just regular secular journalists, and they're asking lots of questions and he's answering them. At a certain point, he's like, all right, guys, sayonara, I'm off. And as he's walking away, the reporters are trying to get, ask their question, and it's kind of shouting after him. And one of them shouts at him, apparently, "What do you do in your free time? Do you even have any free time?" It's a fair enough question for someone who leads a church of over 1 billion people. So that stopped him in his tracks. And he turns around and he walks back up to the microphone and he says to the journalists, "All my time is free." And he didn't have a mic to drop, but I think he should have. And he walked away. All my time is free. Now, that might seem very strange to you because, he was so busy. He must have been so busy, right? I'm busy doing, managing my life, and I don't have 1 point whatever billion people to look after or to write to. He writes to all of them. To travel all over the world like he did, to give constant ceremonies and welcomes and relentless, and not to mention his prayer life, which was very significant. How on earth could you have all of his time is free? But I love that statement because it really talks about a beautiful, what should be the Christian attitude towards time. That is a man who knows he is a son and not a slave. And not just any old son, he is a son of God. And he is not living for his job. He is not living for people and what they want, what they're demanding from him. His only boss is God. Time is not even his boss. Time is not even his boss. And that's part of our goal, brothers and sisters, is to live as sons and daughters of God on his time frame, not slaves of the world and slaves of the old watch and slaves of your calendar and your schedule and what your boss is saying or what your whoever is saying. Now, this doesn't mean we don't have responsibilities and keep them. And on the other hand, it's definitely not. It is a million miles away from living the dream of staying at home, getting the dole, and doing nothing with my life except playing PlayStation. It's a million miles away from that, because that's just another form of slavery. And I think this is a really important thing, our attitude towards time and how we spend it, and just our attitude towards it. So for the Pope there, him saying all his time is free, meaning he is the one who decides how he spends it. He is not beholden to anything except to God. To say something else, he's not saying, I do whatever I like, but he does say that I freely choose how to give myself. It's really, I think, getting into that whole thing of who's your father, who's in charge, who's the boss, who is God? Is it me? Is it time? Is it busyness? Is it other people? Or is it actually God? I used to arrive into seminary classes, bang on the bell. The bell's ringing and I'm just sitting in my seat. Some of the other guys, some of the other friars, they'd be like, "You're late." I'm not late. I'm exactly on time, which I was. And it's okay to be exactly on time. But the problem is, if anything happened, if there was any demand, if anyone wanted to stop me in the corridor on the way to class, I'd be like, which revealed my slavery. I was trying to to milk every last moment out of my day, but not out of a place of wanting to give it to God or zeal for souls or my own sanctification. Or I was just a slave to doing stuff, getting it done. I wasn't even getting it done. I was getting stressed and shortening my lifespan was what I was doing. Whereas all that time that I was rushing, I could have been in communion. I could have been in communion. I could have been leaning back into the arms of God, being with him, no matter what I was doing, instead of the yuck of running around like a headless chicken. Yeah, so I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be a bit more like my hero, St. John Paul II, a free son of God. It's like, okay, time to go now. Peace. I'm not quite saying goodbye to you guys, but something to consider. Yeah, so there's my little thought to, rather than constantly leaning forward in a rushed sort of a way, to be able to lean back, to just go through life leaning back into the arms of God. No job should own you or me. We should only be owned by God, and that ownership that he has is only the ownership of love. He does not treat us as slaves. He does not treat us as staff. You are his son, you are his daughter, and we should relate that way to him in all that we do and say. I hope this has been helpful. Now I'm going to calmly stop this video and enjoy some buffer time before I do the next thing. God bless you.